We're often told that building confidence is this huge, uphill battle. But what if there's a smarter way, a more efficient way to do it? Today, we're going to get into the surprising power of authentic confidence.
Fake it till you make it. I mean, we've all heard this a million times, right? It's the classic advice for when you're feeling nervous about a new job or you're in some scary social situation. Just, slap on a confident face and eventually the real confidence will show up. Seems simple enough? But is it?
Let's really push back on that for a second. What if faking it isn't just, a bit ineffective in the long run? What if it's actually holding you back and making things harder for you every single day? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're going to look at faking it not as some kind of moral issue, but as a really flawed strategy. It's a hack, for sure, but it's an incredibly inefficient one, and it comes with this hidden cost that we almost never talk about. And this hidden cost, it's not about being fake or dishonest. It's about energy, your mental energy. Every time you have to put on that brave face, you're spending from a very finite resource. And that spending adds up, day after day, in ways you might not even notice.
So let's call this your fakeness battery. Just imagine you wake up every morning with a certain amount of mental juice, like your phone is at 100%. Well, every single little act of pretending drains that battery.
And listen, we do this stuff all the time, in all these tiny little ways. Just think about it. You're in a meeting, someone asks when you're free, and you pull out your phone to pretend scroll through a packed calendar. Or maybe you're waiting for a friend and you feel awkward, so you open up the weather app and just stare at it super intensely. All these little performances, these tiny daily fakes, they're all pulling power from that same battery.
So let's just define this clearly. Your battery of fakeness is that limited mental energy you burn on pretending all day. And the key word there is limited. It's not a bottomless well. Every bit of energy you waste on pretending is energy you can't use for your actual work or for connecting with people for real.
Okay, now this chart shows the problem perfectly. Take a look. Those small daily fakes we just mentioned, they're already taking a piece of your energy. Then you've got your actual work, your life tasks. That's the big chunk. But now, layer on a huge, constant performance like faking confidence on top of everything else. Whoa, your energy drain just goes into the red. You're running on fumes before you even get to dinner. It's just not sustainable. So, if faking it is this massive energy drain, what's the alternative? This is where we get to the solution. And it's not about finding a better Band-Aid for the problem. It's about doing a fundamental reprogram. And the difference between these two approaches is everything. Faking it is just a patch. You're just layering a performance on top of an insecurity. It costs a ton of energy, and it's always just temporary. The authentic approach, being it, is a reprogram. It actually fixes the root cause. It's super energy efficient because once the problem is solved, you don't have to waste any more energy pretending. It's a permanent solution. So how does this reprogramming actually work? Well, you can think of it as a 3-step process. First, you've just got to stop the bleeding. Make a conscious choice to stop adding new layers of fakeness that are draining your battery. Second, you got to do the hard work of figuring out what the real root of the insecurity is. Are you worried you're not smart enough for the job or that you don't have enough experience? You have to get really specific. And then third, once you know the real problem, you can actually direct your energy toward fixing that instead of wasting it on the performance. And this leads us to a really powerful idea. Being authentic isn't just some nice, feel-good thing. It's a practical strategy. It is, surprisingly, more productive. When you stop burning all that mental energy on pretending, you free up so much capacity for actual work, for creativity, for just being present. Real is just easier. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway of the whole thing. It sounds completely backwards, but it's true. It is actually easier to be confident than to pretend to be. The upfront work of building real confidence is so much less draining than the exhausting, day-in, day-out effort of pretending. So, the final question I want to leave you with is this. Once you finally close that draining background app of faking it, what are you going to do with all that energy you get back? What real problems could you solve? What new skills could you learn? What real connections could you make? It's pretty exciting to think about, isn't it?